What's up? It's LaPortia. I'm really excited about today's video. I've been wanting to do this for a while. We are going to have a coffee and chat. I have my iced latte here. So let's have our coffee and chat about the Skyland series. I read all three books. Let's talk about it. Let's get into this tea. I'm really going to rank for you, and I want to know your favorite. I'm going to rank the books in order, my favorite to my least favorite, and chat about it a little bit. And yeah, I want to know what you think. What was your favorite in the series? So, the Skyland series, if you don't know, the author Kennedy Ryan has this series. It's a three-part series. Kennedy Ryan is that girl right now. Of course, she's a New York Times bestseller, and everybody's reading. The girls are reading, and the Skyland series, I was told, is a great place to start. So that's where I started. One of my goals for 2026 was to get back into reading. I want to read 10 books this year. I'm currently on my fifth. You might think 10 books, like, girl, step your game up. But let me tell you, last year I read 0 books. The year before that, I read 0 books. Now I could keep going, but I could feel the judgment through the screen, so I'll stop there. But this year I wanted to get back in my bag, and I have plenty of books. I have a bookshelf full of books, but I just got out of it. And once you get out of reading, it's like you have to get back into it. And I was told Kennedy Ryan is a great way to get back into it, and I completely agree. I blew through these 3 books. Amazing. So each book focuses on a different member of this 3 woman friend group. So the first one is Before I Let Go. This is Yasmin's story. The first character we meet, and she is amazing. And her 2 best friends are supporting her throughout the book. And then we learn more about her 2 best friends. This Could Be Us focuses on Soledad and her story. And then last we have Can't Get Enough, which is all about our girl Hendrix. So this is great because it's 3 different women, and though they are around the same age, they're just on their own journeys and in different places in their lives. And I feel like as a woman, you can find not just someone to relate to, but really you can find something in each of them to relate to. Like, I relate to each woman for a different reason. And honestly, the one I relate to more, the one who has a lifestyle or is in a similar place relationally to me, is not even my favorite story. So that just shows you that you can find something in the other woman that inspires you or that you could relate to in a different way. Maybe because it's something you feel you might go through in the future, or you just learned how they navigate different things, even though you're not in those situations. So let's get into it. First, I'm going to just rip the band-aid off. I'm going to tell you the order, my order. Let me have a sip of coffee and then I'll put it down. Okay, so right now they're in order. This is the order you read them in, and they happen chronologically. So the second book is like a year after this, and so on. And you get to kind of get updates about the other women in each other's books. It's really cool the way it's written. But for me, and this is hard, this was a tight race, but I'm just gonna swap Soledad and Yasmin. This is my favorite. This Could Be Us, second favorite. And it's so hard because this is so good. Before I Let Go, and third is Can't Get Enough. Now, when you read this first book, you're going to love Yasmin. You're going to love her story. You're going to love her family. And I almost didn't want to read this. I'm like, wait, why am I jumping to another character? I want to read more about Yasmin. But Soledad, baby, this one is so good. And this was a tight race. But what did it for me, where I put This Could Be Us first, it could be something so small. It could be a character that's not even the focus of the book. But what did it for me was the set of twins. They are teenage boys, teenage Black boys with autism. And in case you haven't read it yet, I won't say exactly who they are, but just their story, the way the parents are raising them, that just tugged at me. I just felt a connection to the, I just love that piece of the story. And I'm sure it's not easy to write and to pick characters that have autism. I just think it's done in a beautiful way and shows us the parent's journey. And that's not even the main part of the book, but that just tugged at me, that warmed my heart, that just touched me in a different way. And that made this number one for me. And then I also kind of like Soledad's finding her own. Like from the outside looking in, you might see this woman. I think she's, by the time we get to her book, the second book, I think she's late 30s. We kind of see her start over, and to see the story of a woman starting over at this point in her life when she already had the husband, already had the kids, people looking from the outside probably thought it was the picture perfect life, but she had to pick herself up and figure it out. And I just thought that was beautiful to watch. And I love that it wasn't instant. Like sometimes we watch these stories, whether it's shows or movies, and it's like, my life is a mess. I try one thing, I'm a huge success. All my problems are figured out, and that's not realistic. I just feel like this was done in a bit of a realistic way. My second favorite is Before I Let Go, Yasmin's beautiful story. This is how you open up the series, and what an opener. I just think it's a beautiful story about family and forgiveness and healing. And what I love about this, I think it makes you think about any conflict you may have with a family member, it could be with a friend, any conflict, and really just think deeper about the other person's hurt. Not just your hurt, but the other person's perspective and the hurt that they were going through. Because sometimes in a conflict, you just have two people in so much hurt and in such a bad place, it's hard to see what the other is going through and to be there for them. And this is just a beautiful way that that's displayed, and the healing that happens, and for the whole family, really, for her whole family, is just beautiful to watch. You know, it'd be so easy to just let it all fall apart and stay falling, but they fought for healing, and I just think that was beautiful. So that's my second favorite. And third is Can't Get Enough. And this is what I was talking about, where I, when I said that you would think this would be my first, because Hendrix is a woman. Uh, I think when it starts out, again, these happen chronologically. So I think in the first book, they're all mid to late 30s. By the time this book happens, at least she's 40. And, you know, she is unmarried, she doesn't have kids. I'm 39, I'm not married, I don't have kids. So, lifestyle wise, you would think I would just like this better or relate to this better. But I really like the family stuff that's in these two books. And she does have family and she does have friends, and they're and friends that are like family, and all of that is in this book. It is still a rich story, a thorough story. She has her own struggles and her own life conflicts and family conflicts that she works through. Some heartbreaking things happen. It is a rich, full story, but for me, which is so, I don't know, I just really like these two and the kids aspect. Even though I don't have nothing, I don't know, I just enjoyed reading about that. I enjoyed reading the family aspect, and that is why I put this at number three. But it is still a really good story, and we see her deal with things with her mom that we don't really get to see in these two. I don't even remember much about their mothers. I think they are mentioned or in the book, but this is like she has a beautiful, Hendrix has a beautiful relationship with her mom, and she lost her father. And we see her navigate things in this book that I'm sure plenty of people could relate to, and that you don't get from the other two. So it's a beautiful story, but there it's just a really tight race. They're three really good stories, but if I had to rank them, if I have to, this is the order. But I highly recommend this series. And if you've read it, let me know what's your favorite. And also let me know what I should read next. I was told, I'm currently reading a Tia Williams book. I was told that I should read Score by Kennedy Ryan. So if you've read that, let me know what you think, if you agree with that recommendation, if you have any other recommendations for me. I do want to read some nonfiction this year in my 10 books. I haven't done that yet, but I want to throw in just some nonfiction or self-help, something, you know, a book where I can learn something. I want to throw that in there. So if you have a recommendation for that, let me know. And thank you so much for watching. I'm excited to be back in my reading bag, and I hope to talk to you more about the books I read this year. Give me a like, give me a subscribe. Let's chat about these books in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.